What's up, everyone? I just wanted to come on and have a check-in here, see how everybody was doing through this full moon and Cancer energy. Got a lot of people in their feelings. Felt a lot of heaviness today. I know it's not mine. Although I have been in my feelings. I wrote just like releasing all this the things I haven't said, out loud. And I'm still undecided if I want to release the poems I wrote today because they're just very real and raw. And, I've been thinking a lot about when I started my YouTube channel, and I remember how excited I was to begin. And I had originally named my YouTube channel Awakening 101. And I still have that's still like the link or whatever. That's what my link says, Awakening 101. Because I wanted to be here for people when they were awakening and talk about the basics and just helping people to heal and grow and move through their spiritual awakening, because it's very overwhelming. And a lot of people think it's like really cool to have your psychic gifts and all your clairs and your connection with your spirit guides. And although it is very fascinating and special, there's a price that you pay for the purity of your divine connection or connection to the divine. And the purification comes through the processing of your darkness and pushing through those dark days, facing who you've been, the things that you've done, taking responsibility for your own actions and your own feelings. And it's not always comfortable. It's not just all super cool. I know doing tarot cards and even watching tarot card readers and seeing different readers and spiritual people on YouTube, and people just sharing in general on YouTube and having their channel, and like just it can seem very cool. And but there was a lot of I had a lot of sleepless nights over the years. And just in becoming comfortable with my guides approaching me, and even making the connections that I have. It was very intimidating and overwhelming, in the beginning. And it took a while for me to feel comfortable with the process of that. And where I found comfort was through YouTube and hearing other people's experiences with their own spiritual awakenings. And I found a couple of people, along my journey that carried me through. I have yet to hear, my exact story, but we all have different paths to live, and to walk. But I was just remembering, when I first started, and the excitement of it all, and how I stumbled upon the twin flame journey. For me, I don't believe that it's something that you seek out and find, or it's just something that's a casual encounter with someone. You know, my experience was completely magical and out of this world. And I didn't really know what I was experiencing until one day. Like, it wasn't even one day, you know. I kept seeing this. I never even knew that they did tarot cards on YouTube. And this girl that I used to work with, one day she sent me a reading and she was like, here, watch this and tell me if you think it's about me and so and so. And I was like, okay, you know, like, I was just like shocked. I just remember being shocked that they do like tarot card readings on YouTube, but you can like literally find anything on YouTube. It's pretty amazing. And anyway, so I watched this, and of course, after I watched hers, I looked up my sign, you know, and I started watching my sign. Not every day at first, but what I did notice was that every day that I did pull up my reading, you know, for Aries, I noticed that this same video kept popping up about twin flames. It said Aries twin flame. And I was just, I didn't know what the hell that meant, you know, and I really, but it was always there. Every single time I pulled up a reading to listen to, this other reading would be like right there underneath the reading that I was watching, you know? And so one day I just clicked on it, and I realized that what had been happening with me and the person that I know is and understand and believe is my twin flame, the person that woke me up even deeper to my spiritual connection, or to my spiritual connection to the universe. Okay, let me speak it clearly. You know, I was in one of the lowest points of my life when I met this person. You know, all my best friends and my dad had passed away within a 19-month period. And when I met this person, like, it was instant. Like, it was like instant, and not like I felt it in my belly. It was instant, as in our eyes clicked, our eyes met, and like they locked. And the whole time he walked by me, like we were glued to each other. And at the same time that this was happening, it was like there was an earthquake where I was. And I remember having to lean back on the desk behind me to keep steady. And when he turned the corner, I remember looking around and realizing that nothing had moved. Like, the plants were still in place. People were walking around and talking, and it was like the day was going on. Nobody was saying, holy shit, did you just feel that tremor? And I realized that it had just been me that felt it, and him, although I didn't know that at the time. And ever since that day, my life just got really, it just got flipped upside down. It just got flipped upside down. And I began this process of eliminating all these men from my life, and men that just didn't really deserve to be in my life, but I had allowed them to be in my life, you know, because it's not that they were bad men, you know. I also felt bad to like cut them off, you know. But, you know, I ended up cutting them all off. And And anyway, a long story short, I was just remembering when I decided to move forward with my YouTube channel and how excited I was. And I remember just really feeling this feeling of excitement and gratitude and peace within me, and this knowing. I just had this knowing that I was right where I needed to be. Everything was happening as it should be. I wasn't concerned about when I was going to ever see my person, and when I wasn't. I just always knew that he was going to show up, and then, or we would see each other, and I never worried about it. I never worried about it. And it just moved along. Now, before I really let myself believe the feelings that I had for this person were real, because something I've realized along the way is that I haven't really been that open for love, even though I have really been obsessed with meeting someone that, or I've just always believed that there was one person out there that would just be for me. And like they would stand by me. I would have a sense of belonging with this person. I would know that I was safe with this person. They would be the person that would stand beside me, and I would stand beside them, and no matter what, I guess like my ride or die, even though that's not really a term I use, but that just so you get the idea of what I've always been looking for is that. And along my path, what I realized is that I wasn't even that myself. Like I couldn't, so it's like, how could I expect to receive that, right? And I wasn't willing to love that way because I didn't trust a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't trust myself. So it's like, how could I trust anybody else? And, yeah, definitely my life, gave me good reason not to trust people, and, but I needed to work through that. If I really wanted, what I said I wanted, I needed to work through the things that were holding me back. And that's what my path has been about. And that's what has like led me to like carry on and continue to push forward. I having to work through all these different insecurities. Not that I'm healed like 100% or anything like that, like far from it. I believe that I'm always going to be learning. And if I don't ever feel like I'm not learning, then, something's like seriously wrong with me. I, I've gone through all these different stages, wide open out here, like processing or sharing, not really processing everything with you guys, but sharing the lesson I've learned from the different things that have happened and that I've experienced along the way. And my spiritual path is definitely, and using the tarot and oracle decks, and like it's definitely deepened my understanding of self, and deepened my connection with God, and the universe. And I've really continued to learn to trust myself and to dive deeper in that, really learning to allow myself the willingness to forgive certain situations and certain parts of my life or periods of my life where, I feel like I wasted a lot of my time, just due to the need to be right, or just feeling it necessary to have somebody see me for something that they were never going to see me for, and, you know, in the beginning, I felt like my journey was all about coming into union with my person, and being this light for the world to show that like true love exists and you can be in harmony with someone. And but it goes like so much deeper than that. I've learned that it's more about developing balance within myself, my own divine masculine, my own divine feminine. And and then I've studied, and there's different religions that, and I'm talking going back towards like some people Shakti, and it doesn't matter. For me, it's all the same, okay? And whatever way you practice it or talk about it, we're all talking to the same thing. That's what I believe, okay? Being, source, I feel like we're all on this journey to develop an understanding of self. Anyway, I was just thinking about how I just wasn't worried. Just wasn't worried about shit. And life unfolded. But then he died. And I was just like so devastated. And I moved forward. Like at first I was like in shock, right? Obviously, like all my best friends died and my dad had died, and then boom, then he died. And that was the one that like really took me out. It was like, I think I had just been numb before, and I hadn't really processed anything. And that's also what this journey is about. It's like cracking open my heart. It's like releasing all this grief, this sadness, this heartache that I've carried, and it's not about playing the victim. It's not about blaming others, It's about understanding that, okay, I have these blocks going on in my life and these things that keep setting me up for certain situations, and it keep allowing me to attract the same kind of people into my life. But then it's like also I know that certain people have come into my life, and I've grown a lot from the experience of that person or situation. And through the betrayals, I might get knocked down, but I don't stay down for long. I refuse to. I just refuse to. I'm constantly searching for the why and the how, and what can I do better? What is my lesson? And my life has been pretty traumatic, since a child. I've seen I've just experienced a lot of things that, if one thing happened, most people wouldn't, even doctors and psychologists wouldn't expect you to live a normal life, or even end up sober and being a good mother and being responsible, okay? Let alone having something happen to you 13 different times, or and then experiencing 6 deaths, and like all this shit one on top of the other, and that's just a few things, in my life experience. And I honestly believe that the reason why I have this channel is it's not so much to bring people into loving relationships. It's, well, yeah, I guess, but it starts first with loving yourself and working on yourself. It starts first with having the awareness of what needs to change within you to so that you can show up, better than you did yesterday. If that's what you want to do. Not everybody wants to do that. That's just what I choose to do. I I used drugs and alcohol for a long time to just numb out my life, and numb out who I was. I went years without looking at myself in the mirror. Not that I didn't ever use the mirror to get ready, I just never looked at myself. And just going numb, just being numb. And to be able to feel today the way that I do, it is a gift, even though it's not always fun. And yeah, I'm hearing that Twisted Sister song, We're Not Gonna Take It, like in my head. And that's what I've realized, is that I don't have to take shit. I don't have to settle for crumbs. And for a long time in my life, I felt like that. And because of the many tragic experiences that I had in my life, I was labeled crazy, or as a whore, or just, yeah, I've even been called a gold digger or a slut. I mean, just all kinds of names people gave me. And usually by people that didn't really know me. The people that have called me the worst things are people that I've turned down, that have wanted to sleep with me or made me offers that I have rejected, but then, they've turned around and said what they've said about me. And it's fine. Like, I don't really feel the need to justify myself, because anybody that believes them obviously doesn't know me and doesn't deserve to know me if they're going to judge me based on someone else's words, someone that I don't even speak to, probably. Usually. Some people I haven't seen in over 30 years are still fucking talking about me. That's the craziest thing of all. It's that I have moved on with my life, and I don't think of them at all, except when every now and then I'll run into somebody and somebody will tell me something and I'll be like, oh, wow, okay. Like, it's kind of mind blowing. But people are people, right? And for me, every day I just like strive to be better. I want to be better. And I know that ruffles a lot of people's feathers. And especially if you're not doing anything with your life, or just sitting around gossiping and bullshitting. And, that's fine if you want to live like that. Lots of people do. Lots of people get a lot of comfort out of that. I don't. I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. And, I literally almost killed myself. I wanted to. The only reason I didn't was because I have 2 kids, and the thought of leaving them with my family was more devastating than what I was experiencing in the world at that moment. And it was pretty devastating. Because I mean, people have just, I'm not going to say that my behavior was like angelic or anything. Obviously, they had, it's just a lot of things got thrown out of context and put out there without my okay. And that's not okay for anybody to do, Luckily, I'm smart and I never took any kind of picture with my face showing, and but I still know it's me, and the people that did it and whoever they told, they know it's me too. And it's gossip kills. It really does. And nobody is able to judge anybody else. You can make a decision. There's a word I was taught or being told to look up the meaning, because when I first heard it, I had never heard it before and I didn't know what it meant. And it's called discernment. And it's not really about judging people. It's about watching, observing. It's about learning from past failures and knowing that, when I did this, this is what this happened. So, I've been around people like this before and this is what happened. This is what I experienced and this is what the outcome was. And so, you know what, here's a red flag with this person. So, you know what, I'm just going to like, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, call them out on anything or anything like that. No, but I'm going to keep my distance. I'm going to smile and nod. That's my best response. Hi, how are you doing? That's like the most you'll probably get out of me. And even if I do share, like if I do start talking, because sometimes it's easy to just like people be standing around and just bullshitting whatever. You're at work and just having like, I tell people what I want people to know about me and that's it, And it's not until I know who somebody is that I'm really going to share the gory details about my life. Even though on here I share a lot, But, we're all just living, and some of the greatest advice I've ever gotten, and what I'm going to give to you today, it offended me highly when I first heard it. So if it offends you, that's a good thing. It means you got some growing to do. But it's learn to mind your own business, because the sooner you learn to mind your own business, the happier you'll be. And anyway, I hope that you keep on diving deep, and I love you, and I guess that's it. Bye.